Hi. Welcome. Doing a mic test. All okay? You can hear me? If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. We will begin shortly, all right? You have about 5 minutes to relax and calm down. And those people who have done, I think Felicia, you have done your test. So I believe you should have received your reply. Your reply. What am I talking about? Your marks. What reply? If you have received your marks, just look through your paper and see what are the mistakes that you have made. So because we are going through the paper in detail today, I did not write comments for your mistakes. I just gave a general comment at the start of the paper. All right. We are waiting to see if there are others joining us, and at 7:30 p.m. sharp, we will start. Feel free to go and grab a snack or a drink and come back at 7:30 p.m. Okay, hi. Welcome to class. It's about to be 7:30 p.m. and we can get started. All right. So over here, Ira, Do you mind turning on your camera so I can see who you are? Hi. Is this your first class here or are you doing a replacement class?
I'm doing trial class.
Trial class. Okay, okay. Umaruddin, how about you? Is this your trial class or is it a replacement class? Or are you joining us?
I came last week.
Okay.
Hey,
All
that's
right.
too, I think.
All right. So because sometimes you're here, sometimes you're not here. That's why I asked. Nadim and Felicia, I know. So who is your do you go for physical lessons as well? Umaruddin, yeah. No, right. Okay, good. All right. So it seems that we have a little more students than usual, but it's okay. So whether or not you have done the test, it's okay. Today's class will be beneficial. So to Nadim and Felicia, you would have received your marked scripts by now, I hope. If you don't have your script, it's okay because today we're going to be going through the paper. And of course, in the interest of time, I will not be going through all of the paper. I'll be going through the important questions that most of you have gotten wrong or questions which I have predicted and other teachers have predicted that most students in Singapore would find trouble with. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is your test paper with this cover. So when I'm going through, I will be using my answer key to go through. It's the same, just that this one is yours, and this one is my answer key. No difference. So I'll be using this to go through. Okay, let's get started. Number one is your very classic positive, negative question or negative, positive question type. So this one is okay. I think we have emphasized it enough. If you see a negative here, you turn it into a positive. You see a positive here, you turn it into a negative. So over here, the confusion may have arisen if you see this, hardly comes over. Hardly comes over, even though it is technically not actual negative, it is not doesn't come over. Hardly is considered as a negative. It means it's almost never. Because this is negative, whatever comes here will be your positive, which is why 3 is the answer. It's a little bit of a trick question. Okay? Is everyone settled in? Okay. Oh, it's Nadim's blurred background because just now your head was warping into strange shapes. Okay. It's just your blurred background. It's okay. I thought something happened. Okay. Any questions about the first one? Why it is does and not doesn't? Okay. Now moving on. This one is once again your pronoun question, confusion between I and me. Most of the time, no students will choose myself, no students will choose us. Students may mistake I for me and write me over here. Of course, this is wrong because if you put me, you just take your pen and just erase off Zaina and, right? It will say me reacted with shock. You sound like Cookie Monster, so no. So whatever that you put in here, if you are confused, just erase the first subject and then just keep I as the subject and then you see. An example here with me would be mother gave Zaina and me cookies for tea. So how do you know it's me and not I? Simple. If you remove the Zaina, mother gave me cookies for tea. Makes sense. Okay, 1 and 2, done. Now, number 3 is your very commonly tested proximity rule question. So what we need to focus on, proximity rule. Proximity means whatever is nearby. This. And the challenge here is that it is his pos of gamer friends, not just gamer friends. So because it's his pos of gamer friends, it is singular. Okay. So far, all okay? Those 3 were pretty simple. So based on my marking, it was quite okay. You guys did well for the first 3 questions. And then the challenge adds on. Now, Sheena believes that adopting a variety of hobbies across all areas helps her with her mood and mental health. So the subject here is a little complicated. You need to determine that this is actually referring to the act of adopting. It is not the variety of hobbies. It is not variety, but rather referring to the act of adopting. This is in fact adapted from a past year PSLE question, which kind of tricked a lot of students. I believe it came out in 2023. So it's adapted from there, and you would see variations of this being tested in your school tests, in your tuition center tests, and so on. Okay. And then this one is a giveaway question. Us, ourselves. Okay. So far, any questions? Am I going too fast or too slow? Want me to speed up or slow down? Put a thumbs up if you think I'm going at an okay pace. Thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs up. And Ira, thumbs up. Okay, great. Excellent. Okay. Next, this one is also a giveaway question. So the detective persisted with the investigation until he discovered the truth. Okay, good. Now, question 7 is where people begin to stumble. Very quickly, because I don't believe that you have memorized your answers or memorized my answer that I gave to you. If you have your marked scripts already, can you write the answer for this? Of course, it's already given to you, but would you have chosen number 1? Who would have put R instead of is? Okay, so why would you have put R? I don't know. How about you, Felicia? Would you have put R or is for this? Without looking, the answer is given to you, yes, but you have put in is. How about you, Nadine? Would you have put R or is? R or is? I think you said something, but you were muted.
I put R.
You put R. Ira, if this was a question given to you, would you have put R or is? Is. Okay. So the thing is, all of you understood that it is currently, which is why your answers were are instead of is if you did it wrongly. But what you didn't get is that this one is what I have explained before, right? Is your distracted boyfriend rule. So, you know that meme from quite long ago? I sound like a dinosaur talking about ancient memes, but yes. So from very long ago, right? So basically, whatever comes here is going to ignore everything that is behind the two commas. The two commas are like border walls, you know? Pretend that they are here restricting access to this entire thing. So all you need to focus on is whatever is here is going to do the opposite of your proximity rule, your neither nor either or rule, and instead going to correspond to your first subject, number one. So that's how you know what this is. Number two, again, collective noun. The bunch of keys. Bunch of keys. So it is your grouping noun, you know, it doesn't matter whether it is 2 keys or 200 keys, it is still one bunch. So it is singular. Very quickly in the chat, can you give me 2 more collective nouns each? Type in the chat. Bunch of keys. What else can you think of? Collective nouns. Question is open to all of you, whether or not you have done the test. Bunch of balloons. Good. What else other than bunch? You may have gone through this in school. What do you remember? What else? Try using a different word than just bunch. Think of your bees or your ants or other kinds of insects. What would you say? It was a what of bees? What do you refer to a group of bees? Huh? Starts with letter S? I'm sure you know. It's like right there on the tip of your brain. I can see it. Come on. Pack of cows. You don't say pack of cows. Pack is used for wolves or dogs. For cows, you say herd of cows. What other animals come in herd? Herd of cows, herd of sheep. Yes. So any plant-eating animal with hooves, you call it a herd. So herd of cows, herd of sheep, herd of horses, even elephants, herd of elephants. For bees, it is swarm of bees, swarm of wasps, you know, all those insects that kind of fly very closely together and look like one collective creature. Yeah, that's a swarm. How about maybe something else? How about students? What do you call students? What of students? Is it a herd of students? No. What do you call students? Group. Yes, a group of students or a class of students. Both can. What else? What else? What else? Pack of something else. Yes, school of fish. Very good. Pack of something else. You can say pack of cards that you play. Playing cards. Pack of cards. Any kind of cards. Pokemon cards also counted. Anything else? Okay. So basically, these are all what we call your collective nouns, and regardless of how many individuals are there, we only count them as one. How do we count them as plural if you say 2 herds of elephants were spotted that day? So this were over here is not bordered by the elephants, actually. It is in fact corresponding to 2 herds. 1 herd, 2 herd. Okay? All right. Then number 8 is your sandwich rule. Do you remember your sandwich rule? And then let me draw this horrible looking sandwich here. Okay, sandwich rule. Basically, it's about your subject and your object. We highlight this and we highlight this. The noun here, seeing. Who is doing the seeing? The seeing over here, the action of seeing. Who is doing it? Is it the girl or we? It is we. Isn't it stack of cards? Yes, stack of cards also can. Pack of cards also can. Depending on what the cards are doing. Okay, so the saw here refers to we. So we are doing the seeing. Who is the seeing being done to? Is the girl. So the girl is the object, and we becomes the subject, kind of. So the object here actually is the front of the sentence, and the subject comes to the back. Normally, we have the subject coming at the front. We saw the girl who was the head prefect earlier. But because of this, your sandwich rule says that if this is the object, and then you have the subject, in the middle here, you will have whom. If we change this the other way around, we saw the girl who is the head prefect of our school, prefect of our school earlier. I will remove the bolding. Hold on. Over here, see, we saw already next to each other. And the girl, okay. So everything corresponds in your normal active sentence. Nadine, why are you clapping? For?
I accidentally pressed.
Okay. I thought you 100% understand this. So you're like a genius in this sandwich rule. Okay. There we go. Number 1. Who? Okay. Now, this one is your subject-verb agreement. Okay. So, first, whenever you do this subject-verb agreement questions, right, you will begin to notice that actually a lot of your options happen in 2 ways. One, they are testing you on singular versus plural. Second, they are testing you whether or not you are able to identify the tense. So the first step that you always do is to stop confusing yourself, quickly look for the tense first. How do you know this is the past tense? Because of? Because of the word broke. Broke out. Broke out, past tense. So you know your answer is going to be the past tense. Do you agree with me? Okay. Now. Singular or plural. We are talking about this guy. Pieces of furniture. Pieces of furniture. Now, test right. Much to the relief of Mr. Tan, blah, blah, blah. If I were to change this to most of the furniture, what will your answer be? If it's most of the furniture, not most of the pieces of furniture, what will your answer be? Type it in the chat, please. Will it be the same, were, or is it going to be was? Were, was, is a mix, okay. All right, so, furniture, luggage, all of this, they are special words. So they are already a collective. Words like furniture, luggage, cutlery, crockery, etc. All of this are already collective words. So they are deemed as singular. The cutlery is already packed with the takeaway. The crockery was all broken by the cat. The airline has lost all the luggage. The furniture is destroyed. So because it's a special term and because it is singular, if we use most of the furniture, your answer is going to be was. But because we have pieces of furniture over here, it is were. So be very careful. Examiners can be very evil and they will test you on this sort of things. Take note of this question. For the ones who did not attempt the test, please make sure you understand this question, okay? All right. You see, from here, from like 7, 8 onwards, the questions start getting trickier. So initially, you were given relatively doable grammar concepts, and it kind of builds your confidence a bit. You're like, hey, not bad. I can do this. And then question 8 and 9 come, and then you say, wait, can I actually do this? So that's how exams work. So don't worry. Number 10, I think is a difficult question. Difficult question. You can only answer it if you are aware of grammar very, very, clearly, or if you read a lot of books, because this is very common narrative writing. Okay, so many actions going on here. Let's break it down bit by bit. How many action words or verbs do you see here? Of course, this is going to be a verb. That's a given. The blank is a verb. How many other verbs are here? Just shout out the word. Felicia? What other verb do you see? Ira? How about you? What other verb do you see? So you would have picked out that your verbs are gasped and felt, along with whatever variation of brush, brushed, had brushed, has brushed is over here. Okay. So you have identified the verbs. Now, you have three verbs, right? They are happening in three different parts. So the order of action is one happens, and then another, and then another. So let's draw three circles over here. And we know that this one leads to this, and then leads to this. Let me just label your verbs as A, B, and C. Okay, so logically speaking, what do you think is the first action that happens? Brushing, feeling, or gasping? Nadine, you're smiling at the camera. There's an invitation to answer. What's your answer?
Oh, brushed.
You put brushed. Okay, but what is the first action that happens? I will go through the tense once we confirm all this. So what's the first action that happens? Is it okay? So let's use a bit of logic. Okay, so she is like gasping in fright, and she feels icy cold fingers. Ooh, and then brush up the back of her neck. Okay, this is like a horror story or something. What do you think happens first? Do people just gasp at random? Do you gasp at random for no reason at all? No, right? It's going to be a reaction to something. So we know very well that, okay, gasp is either in the middle or at the back. Obviously, it's going to be right at the back because that's going to be the last thing you do. You scream or you gasp because you are reacting to something. Now, what are you reacting to?
She could fingers brushing on my back.
Icy cold fingers brushing on her back? Yes. That's going to be the first one. And that's so. Let me explain why this is first and then this is second. Very simple. You feel something on your back, but before that, right? Whoever is brushing needs to do the brushing first. So brushing is not brush. It means to touch very gently, like you touch very gently. Sometimes, if you play with your little baby siblings or nieces, sometimes they are very gentle. They can be very harsh also. But if they just like kind of graze, like barely touching, that is brushing. So obviously she's not going to feel random fingers that are not even there, right? The fingers need to be there. It needs to contact her skin first before she can feel it and then react to it. So it's going to come this way. First brushing, and then she feels the fingers, and then she reacts to it by gasping. Okay, now we have the order of events. Good job. What do we do next? We need to determine the tense of this. Most students would know that 3 and 4 are not the answer. They know had brush, has brush, nah, not the answer. We need to choose between brush and brushed. Why is the answer brush and not brushed? I will pause for a few moments to get you guys to think. Ira, I thought you disappeared for a moment there. I think it's just your camera background. It suddenly turned invisible. Now Nadim is gone. Guys, your camera backgrounds. Oh, you actually disappeared. Come back. Yes. All right. Stop disappearing, guys. Okay. So, let me explain the concept of long action and short action. Okay. Let's draw this timeline. Okay, guys. Have you guys ever seen something that you are scared of? It doesn't have to be horror movie. It's just like a cockroach or a spider or your exam results, anything. Pretty sure, right? So if you have seen or you know people who have seen something they are afraid of, when they scream, the scream, is it very short or is it very long? It's like, right? It's very short, very immediate, very sharp. It's a quick action. That's number one. So it's a quick action. Number two, when you feel something, take your hand, touch your hand. Immediately, right? You can feel yourself touching your hand. Correct? Immediately. So feeling is also a very quick action. Now, I put this long action. You take this finger and you brush your hand. Is this taking longer than just you feeling it and you screaming or gasping? It is, right? It's a longer action. So the longer action is going to pause the two shorter actions. Which is why we are doing this. No. It cannot be immediate brushing. So she is feeling it instantly as the brushing happens, and then she's gasping. So the brush in this particular sentence, it needs to be present tense because it's still going on when she reacts immediately and she screams immediately. Okay? So bear with me. I will give you your break in about 5 minutes time. Okay? Let's continue. Now, is everyone clear with this question? It's a little bit of a complex grammar to understand. Oh, okay. So tip over here is very simple. Find out the order of actions. That's number one. And then find out the longest action, number two. And this long action is going to be in the base form or the present tense form. Everything else is going to be your past tense. Okay. Number 11. This one is phrasal verbs. This one, 11, 12, 13, all phrasal verbs. The only way to know phrasal verbs is to memorize them, use them in your writing, and take note of it when somebody else uses it in their writing. When you're reading your model compositions, your newspaper articles, your books, or you're listening to people talk. So just take note of it and use it in your own writing. So over here, I'll just go through the meaning of each of these verbs. So let down means to disappoint. The match was such a letdown. Show up means to be present for something. So don't forget to show up for class each time that it is there. Put down means to talk badly about someone or to discourage them. To let up means to ease a bad situation. So sometimes you talk about a storm. Oh, the storm is beginning to let up. Sometimes you talk about someone's bad mood. Oh, their mood is beginning to let up. So in this case, is the mother an incessant nagging? So it is letting up.
Is it?
Okay.
This one, the MCQ, one question, how many mark?
One question is 1 mark for MCQ. So normally you'll be given 10 grammar questions and 5 vocab questions. This one is because it's a starter test. We wanted to test out all the grammar that you have studied so far. So it had a lot more. Next, this one, again. Fell in means to gather back in one place. Breakthrough means to make a new discovery. Let me double check fell over meaning. Because fell over has a different meaning in terms of their phrasal verb and the normal meaning. Okay, see? For the fall over, if it's just fall over, regular meaning is like, you know, the man was walking and then he fell over the tree trunk or something, to fall over. But the phrasal verb means to cover up. They decided to fall over for their mistakes. So it is actually a rare use. It's not very commonly used. To fell out means to no longer talk because of something bad that happened, usually in any kind of relationship between people. So over here, the two sisters don't talk to each other, so they fell out. Number 13. Although cats are known for disliking water, my cat took to swimming like a duck to water. Okay. Took down means to stop something. Took in means to adopt. Took over means to take on control of something after somebody else. Took to means to develop a liking for. So number 13 is develop a liking for. Okay? So again, like I say, phrasal verbs, the best way to learn is to memorize them. You can find list of phrasal verbs everywhere, but nowadays when you're Googling, please be careful, okay? In my time when I Google, when you're asking a question, they will lead you to places where the question is answered. Maybe Wikipedia, maybe the Cambridge website, or maybe even Reddit where teachers write and so on. But nowadays, when you Google, Mr. Google AI is there. And like 50% of the time, he's okay. It kind of gathers answers from all around, kind of gives you correct answers, okay. But the other 50%, it just gathers random stuff all around and it gives you nonsense, you know? It gives you nonsense information that is not correct. So do not trust the Google AI overview. Let me just teach you, since you'll be Googling a lot. So you see Google, let's say we want to see, what do lions eat? You see, this AI overview, Over here, okay, it kind of makes sense. They hunt mammals like zebra and wildebeest. Okay, maybe. But just don't bother reading the Google AI view. Just scroll down and then you will start to see the actual results. Read the actual results. Let's say you're looking for the meaning of a word. You will have your dictionary definition. You click on the AI mode, the AI would appear. Then it will give you a lot of random things. Sometimes it is not correct. So do not use the AI. Use the actual Google, okay? So because we have cases of students trying to argue with the teacher that they Googled the answer, how can it be wrong? Because of the AI overview. So be careful, okay, guys? All right, bear with me. After question 15, maybe after the grammar section, I will give you a break, okay? So you can go on your nice 5-minute break and then you can return. There we go. Okay, this one, right? I don't agree with the given answer. Because it kind of sounds very fairy tale-like. Bears are not entirely, your fairy tale creatures. They are still apex predators. So has this kind of gratefulness happened before? Yes. But we would describe it as irrationally grateful. That means it's not normal behavior expected of the bear. So I accepted the answer irrationally. Unreasonable is not correct. Eternally is not correct. So irrationally grateful. Because it's not supposed to be. This one, everyone got correct. Regain consciousness. I think it has been put into your mind enough over your primary school years, so it's okay. You know, this kind of words, right? Regain consciousness, lost consciousness, declining health, improving health. All of this, we call this best friend words. So words that kind of come together. So regain consciousness, declining health. You don't say diffuse. Diffuse means it's usually used to, if you watch your old action movies where there's a bomb somewhere and then the main character is like pulling out the wire to stop the bomb. Yeah, that's diffusing the bomb. In normal English use, you can use it to diffuse a situation where people are maybe angry or fighting. Delaying means to put for later. Depleting means like depleting natural resources. It's getting lower and lower. Even though depleting and declining kind of have the same meaning, in terms of health, we usually say declining. We don't say depleting health. Okay, now 17 and 20, they are figurative language questions. Again, figurative language, the only way to learn is to memorize. So a best friend will stay by you through thick and thin. That means through the good things and the bad. Leaps and bounds, that means to a lot. So my marks improved by leaps and bounds. Flesh and blood basically is talking about relatives who are related to you biologically. Ebb and flow is how things go. So how things go. So I went with the ebb and flow of my job. Thick and thin. Through good times and bad times, both. Leaps and bounds means to make big improvement, mostly. And flesh and blood is blood relations. People who are related to you biologically. Okay. Number 18, everyone will know that it's not enrichment, it's not rudiment, it is complement. But which complement? I know the answer is given to you, but which complement is the answer? Or would you have chosen? Number 3. Number 3, right, is saying, oh, you are looking very nice today. That's a nice shirt you got on. Nice hairstyle. Nice lipstick. Giving a compliment to somebody. Praising somebody. Compliment means to match. So milk, chocolate chip cookies match well. So they are complement. Even though you pronounce it the same, compliment and compliment. Rudiment means the first or the beginning or the basic, something like that. Enrichment, you all know, you all go for enrichment classes. For example, this is an enrichment class. Okay. Now, this one, easy, across the globe, so international. What's the difference between locally and regionally? Can somebody explain?
Is it local? Is like your country, so
Yes. Regional?
like Asia.
Asia, yes. And then nationally is also your country. So because we live in Singapore, to us locally and nationally is the same thing. But let's say if you live in China, right? Beijing, if you live in Beijing, Beijing will be local to you. China will be national to you. In Singapore, it's the same because we are tiny. So local is your city or your town. National is your country. Region is like Asia, Europe, America. International is the whole world. Okay. Now, this one, again, is your figurative language. I'll just give you the meaning. Kick the bucket means to die. What a phrase. Weather the storm means to put up with difficult situations. You will hear a lot of your ministers talking about it every National Day. Together, Singaporeans will weather the storm and emerge stronger than ever. You know, variations of it heard all around. Be on the fence means to be unable to decide between options. So can you stop being on the fence and make a decision quickly? To bury the hatchet means to forget the past. So usually negative. You don't say bury the hatchet for something positive. It means something negative, it is affecting you now. And then over here you have two. Let bygones be bygones. What's that? What is let bygones be bygones?
Let the hopeless people be hopeless.
Hopeless people? Why did you say bygones is hopeless people?
I don't know, it came to my mind.
Oh, came to your mind. Interesting. No. To let bygones be bygones means it's similar to bury the hatchet. It means to let the bad things stay in the past. So let the past stay in the past. Let's not talk about it. So let bygones be bygones. So of course over here they decided to make up and let bygones be bygones. They decided to bury the hatchet and continue being friends. Okay, with that, I will give you a 5-minute break. So go wash up, grab a snack, grab a drink. And at 8:25, I want you guys back. All right? Okay, it's 8:25.
Yo, why is he the rich guy?
Going to see you guys trickling in soon. Hi, hi. Did you enjoy your break?
Yes. No, I say first.
I see. You are enjoying your break. Yes. Okay, I'm also drinking my tea. So, hey, where is everybody else? Ira, Felicia, Umaruddin, you guys here? Hi, Felicia. Enjoyed your break? How is the new year going, by the way? Shrug. Don't know. Okay. All right, all right. You just started. You gave it a little bit of leeway. Okay. Ira, Umaruddin, are you guys here? Your camera is off. Welcome, Ira. Enjoyed your break? Good. Now, where is our friend Umaruddin? Okay, while we wait for him, I will give him about a minute to return. If not, I will continue. So the three of you who are here, how do you find P6 so far? You have officially started school. How is it going? Not bad, not good, kinda in the middle. Okay. Which subject do you think you are most confident in so far? Is it math, science, mother tongue, English, hopefully? Science, good. Mother tongue, good. Anyone here doing higher mother tongue this year? Anyone? Good, interesting. Science? Oh, okay, so you did higher mother tongue, but you quit. Okay. You used to have. Wow, why these people who used to have higher mother tongue and quit? Why did you quit? Is it because it was too difficult? Okay. No issues. Higher mother tongue is a bonus. So if you're able to do it, just take it up. It's kind of fun. Okay? All right. So let's continue. So if you notice, we kind of skipped we kind of combined the grammar and vocabulary section for the earlier one. And now we are moving on to everyone's favorite vocabulary flows. I'm not sure whether you guys have read the entire passage or no, but it's a very interesting book that is taken from. And now, moving on. Doubtlessly. Doubtlessly. You know, this is the reason why, right? Vocab close requires you to know your context before you answer. Because if you just look at the word itself, doubtlessly, doubt means question or you're unsure about something. Lessly means without. So the thing is, a lot of you would have chosen unquestioningly or something along those lines. But actually over here is as you know, as you without the doubt know, as you undeniably know, as you accurately know, as you absolutely know. The most suitable answer is actually absolutely. But after speaking to teachers, some of them say actually unquestioningly can be kind of accepted because, well, you're not going to ask questions about this, right? You already know that this Mr. John Whittier is kind of like a pathetic man. He doesn't have a job, he runs away, he leaves his 10-year-old daughter behind, you know? So, as you unquestioningly know. Okay, next. No worldly possessions whatsoever. So you would notice that this English is actually not very modern day standard. So this is a novel, if I'm not wrong, it's written around 1800 something, which is why you see this sort of English being used. So worldly basically means material. Anything like, I don't know, a car or your house or your furniture, your collection items. These are all your material goods. It's not supernatural. It's not treasured. Treasured is something that's special to you. It doesn't have to be. It can be personal, but not always personal. Like, for example, your cup can be your personal belonging, but your worldly possession may also include a car that you share with people in the house, for example. So it means material. Next, resided means to inhabit, to live in. I think so far you guys are able to get the correct words. Now, 24, paltry salary. By the way, I want to draw your attention to living from hand to mouth. It is a figurative phrase. What does it mean to live from hand to mouth? Yeah, what's the meaning of living from hand to mouth?
Well, like he works and after that the money he used to eat.
Correct, yes. So he works, he gets money, and all the money goes to his basic needs. So food, shelter, and everything. So he doesn't do anything extra. So
Broke.
no CPF. That's why. that's what you will learn in social studies. You will see this hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth a lot. And then they will say that is why the government introduced the CPF. You will meet it soon enough when you do your social studies classes. So paltry means low, very, very low. Okay. Now, 25, welfare. So I understand that you are not on good terms with him, but I thought that on account of your niece's welfare, you might want to consider taking her in and bringing her up. Okay. So for the sake of her well-being. There we go. I think it's a relatively simple passage, even though the register is a bit higher than normal. What do you think? Okay, right? It's quite doable. All right. With that, we bid adieu to all the MCQ. And now we move on to editing close. Answers are all here, but how did you find it? Those of you who attempted the paper, so Nadim and Felicia, how did you find this editing close? By the way, you notice that this paper is still set according to the old syllabus standard. It has 12 marks for the editing rather than 10. So how do you find the editing close? Is it okay? Is it difficult? It's a bit hard. Not easy, not hard, I guess. Okay. All right. So let me just circle the words which I think you guys may have found hard. This one. This one. This one. These three were hard. The rest, domesticated. Domesticated. Again, what did I say? When you look at the words, right, it kind of looks like a weird, jumbled Franken word you've never seen before. chances are it is a spelling error. And this kind of spelling errors are sound-based. So just say the word out loud and you will be able to get what the word is. So domesticated, domesticated. There you go. I think some of you were not too sure of the spelling. Please take note that domesticated is spelled with a C, not a K. Okay, next, revered. Revered means to be highly respected. So, learn this. Revere, revered. Nothing to do with rivers. And now, we move to our grammar. Hero exploits. It seems that we are talking about the exploits. What does exploits mean, by the way? Nadine, what does exploits mean? Make a guess if you're not sure. Ira, how about you?
Does it have to do with explode?
Does it have to do with explosions and exploding? No. Even though it's explode, it's nothing to do with that. Ira, how about you? What do you think is the meaning of exploit in this context? People? Okay. So exploits basically means actions. Heroic actions in war. So in the past, horses were used in warfare. All right, so this is what they meant. So heroic. So you are describing the kind of actions that they did, which were resembling a hero. So you turn the noun into an adjective. So heroic. So this is basically the adjective version of hero. Next. I think this one was an evil question. So combining these two was evil because it tricked a lot of students. Because number one, competitions, everyone got right. Over here, people were so confused. They're like, recreation. Why is it wrong? And they thought the spelling was wrong and they spelled it with K. What are you doing, Umaruddin? Don't do that. So K. No, it's not. It's just, you all missed out the word pursuits. Pursuits means hobbies. So, we are now describing is the same as heroic exploits. So we are describing what kind of pursuits. So recreation, the noun, needs to turn into recreational, the adjective. Understood? So it's like recreate. No. It's not like recreate. Recreate means to create again. Recreation means like leisure or hobby. So, you know, sometimes in some schools, when they have sports teams or sports CCAs, there are people in the sports CCAs who will be sorted into the school team and the recreational team. So the school team will play in all the school competitions. The recreational team just plays the sport for fun. Like you learn the sport, you train, but it's for fun. It's not for any competition. So when you do something for recreation, you do it for fun. You don't do it for competition. You don't do it for business. Okay? Now, some are also involved in police work. It's a tense error. Everyone got this right. While others provide rehabilitative therapy. Long word. Try to say it. Rehabilitative.
Rehab.
Rehab. Yeah. They just call it rehab. Yeah. Because it was rehabilitative. Whenever you see such a long word, especially in your oral exams, don't panic. Don't shorten it. Read it slowly. Rehabilitative therapy. And then this one is just your normal grammar. So which individuals? No. Where individuals? Why is it where? It is referring to the kind of therapy in which people are. What do they do there? They are taught horse riding skills. So where individuals are taught horse riding skills, and we're talking about people, so it is there. And then horse racing being a spectator sport is definitely one of the more popular ones today. Good. And now, sought. Thoroughbred horses are highly sought after for the purpose of horse racing. You got this right. It's the past tense of seek. To seek, to have sought. Now, this one, I don't think anyone got it right. Prized. What does it mean to be prized for something? To be prized means to be heavily, known for, can be awarded as well. And also, people value them. It's to do with value. So they are prized for their agility and speed and strength. Okay. And then this paper decided to skip the horror of many students, which is your comprehension close, but it didn't skip the second horror, which is a comprehension open-ended.
Yeah, but
Okay, guys, this is the second time that we are doing this passage with P6 students. So I always ask this question. What do you think happened in this story? Did Jake actually sleep through all those years or no? Some students got confused. Who says he slept through all those years? So this is a story about a boy who was in a coma or something. You. Who thinks actually he didn't sleep through? There were two dreams in this story. I see shocked expressions.
Memang dream.
It's a dream within a dream.
It is a dream.
It is a dream. Because you see right at the end, right? Come on, buddy. Get up, called Jake's father. Jake pried open leaden eyelids to see his father standing at the foot of his bed looking younger and leaner. Beside him was a 9-year-old Taylor. Come on, sleepyhead. Yeah, so our friend Jake, he had a very elaborate dream. So in the dream, he thought he had a dream about the tropical rainforest. And then he was waking up and doing stuff and all of that. And then he thought that he slept through multiple years and finally woke up and he grew up and his father and his sister all grew up and he missed the entirety of PSLE. The horror. Or is it like a dream ideal situation? I don't know. But actually, he just overslept, huh? So that's the thing. So it is not an open ending. It's just a little bit confusing over here if you read too quickly. Which is why you should read very, very carefully, guys. In the age of misinformation and AI, close reading is very, very important. Okay, so was Jake ready to wake up? Everyone got it. No, he wasn't. A, the first part of the answer, everyone got it. Second part of the answer, not everyone got it. Some people say he did not want to wake up because he dragged himself into the shower, shuffled downstairs to breakfast, and so on. Actually, it's just that he had a nice dream and he didn't want to wake up. Why? He didn't want to wake up from the nice dream. Very simple. Next, show that Jake was not alert even after getting out of bed. Important keywords here, drag himself to the shower and shuffled downstairs to make breakfast. So both of it is movements that Jake is doing, and it's movements that you associate with awake people or tired people. Shuffling and dragging yourself.
Teacher,
No, these two actions, dragging yourself and shuffling. Do you use it?
teacher,
Uh-huh.
I say in the shower, he briefly dreamt of tropical rainforest.
Yes, he briefly dreamed of tropical rainforest. Yes. So the thing is, he briefly dreamed of tropical rainforest. It was his dream. But just because you had a dream doesn't mean that you are not alert. Sometimes you can have the most detailed dream of your life, and when you wake up, you feel very, very awake and ready to get on with the day. Sometimes your dreams are nothing, but you feel so exhausted. Your dreams have got,
But he's dreaming in the shower. What?
You're dreaming of what?
He's dreaming in the shower.
Yeah, he's dreaming in the shower too. But you need to indicate the dreaming in the shower. So if you just say he was briefly dreaming of tropical rainforest, it doesn't count. You must say he was briefly dreaming in the shower, maybe it can be considered, but dragging himself is the more correct answer. And then he shuffled downstairs. So it's to show through movement that he is actually not quite awake. He's still half asleep. You know, like students on a Monday morning, half asleep. Okay, next. Reluctant, paragraph 3. What is he doing? 1, 2, 3. He's like, I don't want to wake up, you know? So, reluctant. Maybe he feels a bit grumpy, but the main feeling is, why must I get up? You know, every morning before you go to school, you're like, I wish it's Saturday already, right? So that is reluctance. And then this one is pretty straightforward. Surprisingly, a lot of people got too big for the pajamas, but not the grown up rapidly. So he's big for the pajamas because apparently to him it's just one night and suddenly he's bigger than his normal self. How did that happen? I slept through several years. I skipped the entirety of PSLE and almost secondary school. So, grown rapidly overnight. Next, word of your owner, guys. It has been bolded, it has been italicized, yet I see sandpaper. You know? Why? Why did you write sandpaper here when they say use a word of your own? Is sandpaper your own word? No, it's the author's word. How does sandpaper feel like? Rough, spiky, you know, it's not smooth. And it's one word, so only one word is accepted. Felicia, what word did you write? Yes, bumpy, correct. Bumpy is also accepted because it's rough. Okay, okay. Now this one. Everyone got this correct. Other accepted answers are Jake's father and Taylor. If your name Taylor is also accepted, it's okay. Next, yellow sunshine doesn't refer to Taylor herself, but instead her laughter. So if you write Taylor's laughter, also accepted. Over here, if you say face, just face, it's not accepted because whose face? His father's face, Taylor's face, his dog's face? No, it is Jake's own face.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
For the family, I just put Jake's family.
Okay, it's already family. So if you repeat family again, it is not accepted. Maybe if they say they, then they can say family. Okay? So one thing you need to know here is that for this kind of questions, do not repeat the word in the left column. So if it's family, don't write family again. Go and break down who the family is. Okay, this one is a little bit tricky. Jake was sad. Jake was perplexed. So sad, okay. Next, four-word phrase. When they say four words, it is no if, no but, no 3, no 5, absolutely only 4 words. So eyes began to prickle. Yes?
Sense of loss, kid. Sense of loss. A sense of loss.
A sense of loss.
Yeah.
Hold on. Forward phrase from lines 41 to 48. Let's go see. 41 all the way to here, 48. Felt overcome with a sense of loss, his eyes began to prickle. Okay, okay. Sense of loss can be sadness, but it's still ambiguous, right? Sometimes sense of loss can leave someone numb. It can leave someone confused. But when your eyes begin to prickle, it means you're feeling sad or upset. So when you are stuck with decisions like that, pick the one that you know will have the most suitable answer. So even though sense of loss is not wrong, eyes began to prickle is a better answer. So I don't think teachers would accept sense of loss because it's there in the feeling, in your reasoning itself. Because remember, when you give your reason from the passage. You don't just make up your own reason. You don't paraphrase it. You write it directly from the passage. Usually, this sort of questions is just to see whether you're able to connect certain things you are reading in the passage to other things or no. So reason for his feeling. His eyes began to prickle because he was overcome with a sense of loss. Mind reeling. Usually happens when you panic or are confused, when you feel like your brain is trying to run away, happens. Right before your exam, you're like, I have memorized everything. And then you look at your question paper and suddenly your brain is like, oh my goodness, no, I don't want to be here, bye. So that is the mind reeling. And why did he suddenly panic so much? Because he realized he has slept through 4 years. Over here, right? Important to say this. Important to say he realized. You cannot say he thought he had slept through because right now, before we get the plot twist that this is in fact a dream, it is still real to him. He really thought that he has slept through. So he realized, not he thought. Okay? So far, okay? All right. Sentence. This one, everyone got. Taylor led zombie-like Jake out the front door to the curb.
Teacher, I wrote the correct answer and I canceled it.
Why? What did you write? What was your other answer that you wrote?
This statement sends my reading.
Which sentence in paragraph 9 tells you that Jake was so shocked he could not function independently? That means he needs someone to help him. He is so shocked he cannot move. That's why it's telling you. So Taylor is helping Jake to go out the door. Very simple, but he can't do it because he was so shocked.
But teacher, it's kind of correct because got my reading.
Kind of correct, got mind reeling. Okay. You see, when you're sitting for your exam and your mind begins to reel, you can still get up and go to the bathroom, or you can still write your name, right? You can still function. So just because someone's mind is reeling doesn't mean that they cannot function. So again, it's the same as the sense of loss. Sense of loss, yes, maybe it is something that you can be sad about, but not all the time. Eyes began to prickle is the uncomfortable feeling you get in your eye when you're about to cry. That is most of the time to do with you being sad. Over here, his mind reeling. Yeah, maybe he was so shocked and he couldn't function. Maybe, but that is the effect that you're imagining, you know? So tip over here, I saw your hand up. Just give me a moment. So tip over here is that choose the more obvious answer that no one can argue with. So a tip that my teacher shared with me when I was in PSLE and then later on secondary school is that how do you choose the more obvious answer? Imagine that you have a very irritating person right next to you. Okay, imaginary person, not a real person. And this person's job is to keep asking you questions like mind reeling. Okay, but what if your mind is reeling and it can still function? Sense of loss. Okay, what if my sense of loss doesn't make me cry? So imagine that person asking a lot of questions. And then when you imagine that person is like, okay, I got no questions to ask. Eyes began to prickle. Okay, yeah, you're crying. It's at 99% sure. Zombie-like. Zombies cannot move. Taylor is leading him, obviously. So yeah, he can't move. Can't function independently. Okay, I give up. So imagine that. All right? Sounds a bit crazy, I know. But sometimes, whatever works, to help you come up with your answer. Just take it on. So, what was your hand up for, Marudin, just now?
My hand was up.
Yeah, you were like,
Oh,
or were you just stretching?
stretching.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Felicia, Ira, Nadim? Okay, great. All right, we are almost done. So I'll just go through this final question and then I'll let you know. Let you go. Okay, so this is very simple. In his dream, he imagined it was so detailed to the point that his father and sister have also aged, I think before sleeping, Jake has probably watched a movie or read a book about like time travel or something. So, false, his sister and father have also aged. Extreme reaction. No, the dad was like casually sipping coffee, like, oh, you're awake. Hello. And this one is not in just the father, because we are only talking about the father. All right. I know it's 9:01. I can sense the unease in some of you. You guys are very, very punctual when it comes to being at the end of class. Okay, so any questions? No questions? Okay then. So next week we will continue lessons proper. Have a good rest of the week. Have a restful weekend. And I'll see you all next Wednesday. Thank you for the heart react, Ira. That's so nice. Bye-bye.
Madam,
Bye-bye.
Madam.
Yes?
At the Tampines interchange got the actual mastermath punya tempat, right? I always see the picture when I go interchange.
Yeah, I think there is a branch at Tampines, yes, in-person branch.
Okay.
And there is an English coach who conducts lessons in person.
Whoa,
You'll find out when you go there.
cool. Okay, bye.
Coach Nazir. His name is Nazir.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.